What brought me into Zoho in the first place was the CRM and the projects application, because I need to obviously sell the product and manage the sales cycle, but I also need to produce the work and be able to have a project management style organization past the sales point.
I'm Sean Hessinger, and this is Small Biz in 15, the show where we bring you small business news and tips to make your small business better. Recently, Small Biz in 15 went on location at Zoholics 2023 in Austin, Texas, and spoke to Steve Festa, owner of Blues Brothers Construction, about using software to make your roofing company more competitive.
Steve, let's start with a little bit about what your business does.
We're roofing contractors based out of South Florida, Boca Raton, and we do residential roofing and repairs.
Could you talk to me a little bit about how you got your business started and what got you into this?
Yeah, 2005, after Hurricane Charlie in Central Florida came through, I seen there was a ton of roofs with tarps on them and went to work for a company, and rest kind of seen the failures of most roofing companies that I worked through. And then I eventually started my own company with a different set of morals and values, and moved to South Florida and just started building from there. And now we're pretty predominant in the Boca Raton area.
Could you talk a little bit about your sort of your ideal customer, like mainly who you work with? I mean, is it commercial, residential? Is there a particular?
Yeah. So we focus on the residential market. That's our core competency. We do all repairs and replacements for tile, metal, and shingle, flat roofs as well. We do commercial, but we don't really specialize in that. It's in our wheelhouse, but it's not really our core. The residential market for customers from anywhere from a 2,000 square or 1,500 square foot house to a mansion that we're doing currently that's $300,000 roof. So we have everything in between.
So let's talk about something that you probably don't usually the first thing people think of when they think about roofing: software. What kinds of problems or pain points did you have in your business that caused you to start looking for software solutions?
Organization, mainly. Keeping a tab of where everything is, what's going on, what's due, what's overdue, estimating organization, dependencies for project management, accounting software, everything kind of coming together and being able to sync and have a database of information.
And what made you choose or get interested in Zoho as a solution?
Well, the multifunction for it, having one entity that can kind of tie everything together, and I don't have to Zapier products in to connect them. I can connect them in with all one focal company, and that's very useful for me.
How long have you used Zoho? How long have you been a customer?
I believe this is our 7th year using it.
And what changes? I guess I should ask. Like, there were probably goals that you set when you said, "Hey, I need some kind of software to manage it." So, what kind of extra stuff have you seen beyond maybe the goals that it's helped you do in terms of improving your business?
Well, one of the main features I did like is Creator. We're utilizing that for one of our repair division, where our guys can go out and basically estimate on the fly and create a contract. And we were able to create that fairly easily with Creator. What brought me into Zoho in the first place was the CRM and the projects application, because I need to obviously sell the product and manage the sales cycle, but I also need to produce the work and be able to have a project management style organization past the sales point.
Let's back up there and talk a little bit about marketing and sales, because I think that's something that people think about with the CRM. How did you use that to improve your marketing and your sales of your business?
Well, the blueprint process is key for me because, and the workflow process, because I can filter and kind of guide my users through a process that I've curated to make sure it we're following that same experience for our customers, and create checklists and require notes and have actions based upon certain things happening at certain points. That's very big for me, because I want that franchise style experience for each customer that comes through. So I can replicate that over and over and over with the blueprint and the workflow process. And that's big for me.
You mentioned some of the Zoho tools. Which tools do you use? How many tools do you think you use? Which ones and in what ways?
Well, in CRM, I'm using Blueprint. I'm using workflows. I'm using, that's the main ones that I use. For projects, I'm a little bit more on the basic level. I'm using the dependencies. That's big. Those are the main ones. I'm trying to create an estimating software in CRM, or not inside of CRM, but using the Creator application as well.
Let me ask you this, and you kind of alluded to some of this before, but how do you think it's changed your process, changed the way you operate your business?
Well, I can get the 10,000 feet view easily and quickly because I'm able to create the analytics. That's key as an owner. I can see everything, log in quickly, or get reports quickly. With the analytics, that's another tool that we use. I've architected and engineered the process, so I know what's being done. I can just log in and see what's going on and not have to be out of the loop in my process as an owner. That's key.
If you were talking to other small businesses, not necessarily roofers, but maybe other people that you know, contractors and things like that, you were talking to them about finding software to solve some of your problems. What do you think some of the benefits are, and how do you think they should start their search? I'm a business owner. I don't know, something else maybe related to you. Maybe I do gutters, or I do painting, or I do something else like that. I mean, the last thing I want to do is think about software now. I mean, how is it really going to benefit me?
Well, it's all going to go back to your process. You kind of got to get organized in your thoughts and what you're trying to do. It always starts with the customer experience. You got to hone in on your customer experience, know exactly who your ideal customer is, what attributes, make sure that, the customer is going to be, you're getting the customer they want, and they're getting the service provider they want if it's in a service industry. And then find the software that kind of fits that mold. Zoho has all different tiers. That's the one main reason I went with Zoho, because in the beginning, it was a lot harder for me, because there are some out of the box roofing softwares that would get me to a quick A to F scenario. But I knew that in my development process and how we were going to scale our business, I wasn't going to get to A to Z. I was only going to be able to get to that F level with those other softwares, and I wasn't going to be able to transcend that process. So I seen, past that level, and I was able to, I can keep building with Zoho. You can have the entry level process, and you can go as creative as you can be.
Well, this is interesting, because you were talking about going through a process with a couple of roofing softwares. I mean, could you talk a little bit about your search, kind of like when you realized, gee, I got a problem, I got to get a better way of managing it, and kind of how it led you down that path to realizing what kind of software you needed and what kind of goals that you had for that software that you were looking for?
Yeah. So I'm a big, make sure everything's right and dot my I's and cross my T's. And I navigated through tons of software. We went through, I don't know how many different softwares out there, and stumbled across Zoho, and it just gave me the vision where I can come up with all these scenarios. And it took 15 years ago before I started really dialing in, saying, all right, well, there's an if case scenario for basically everything in every business. It may be several ifs to get to that if this and this that. So, but you can do all of that in Zoho, and that's one of the reasons I enjoy using it.
Can you talk a little bit about? I mean, you don't just decide to be a roof contractor. So, talk a little bit about your journey, because we cover small businesses, small business trends. We cover small businesses. So, I'm very interested in kind of how you got your business started, and even how you got to the point of getting into this industry.
Yeah. So obviously, it wasn't my my career passion job when I got started. I just seen an opportunity in a sales environment, and I was working for a company, and just the morals and values were not there. They aligned with what I had as a, if this was my business. So I went to several different companies and didn't see the same ideologies. So I said, all right, I got to do this on my own. So I went and built up my own company, and, obviously it has some ebbs and flows, but going through it, at the end of the day, I can always hang my hat on my morals and my values and make sure that I'm giving that customer experience, and we're saying what we're doing, and there's no, the buck stops with me. So I like sleeping, putting my head down on the pillow at night, making sure that I did what I said I would do. So that's important to me.
This always fascinates me from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Did you get into this mainly from the sales side of it, or from the side of like being a roofer?
No, I got it through the sales side. That was the side I came through, because that was the entry level point that I came through. It was there was an abundance of sales needed, so I came in through that area.
And do you think contractors, in your experience, do they focus a lot on sales and marketing, or do they kind of more deal with what comes in over the trestle, as it were?
Yeah, a lot of them come through the trade, and that's probably the better way to come through. I did come through the sales side, so it took me a lot longer to kind of understand the trade side. The trade side is the most important part of this business, because you have to know, it takes time. It's not just a crash course. There's a lot of if this case scenarios with it. There's a lot of them, so it takes a decade before you can kind of understand what all these different nuances that come into when you're doing a residential roof, because you're retrofitting. Nothing's new. You're putting new on old homes all the time, and there's always different scenarios that you're going to run into. It's not that simple, unfortunately, but there's scenarios that you can come up with to make it a software driven process. And
I imagine with having gone through the experience of having my roof redone, I guess you run into all kinds of different architectures, all different kinds of ages of homes, all different kinds of surface areas, and because they built them in every way imaginable over the years, and you don't know what you're going to deal with until you deal with it. So
and that's part of the process. That's you're going to have scenarios like that. We had to weed out a lot of that in order to make it an automated process for us. I initially started with trying to automate and be able to offer services to every scenario. And you just can't do that. So we had to eliminate some scenarios to make it easy for us to automate the process and make it where we can scale it. And now we've kind of dialed that in where we can put a series of questions together in order to automate and execute that contract and production and estimate and all of that.
Well, that's interesting. Could you get a little into it? How you eliminated things to get a process together?
Yeah. So it goes back to two main things. You're going to go off of your area of work, which is going to be what coverage area, and then you're going to go into your scope changes. And once you determine your area, you could then go through your variations of scopes, and that's just a series of questions that you're going to go through. Now you have to obviously figure out your evaluation and break that down into different segments of a roof, and then be able to then go in and say, all right, based on these conditions, you're going to make this type of scenarios and build these types of roofs and offer it to customers, which is, that's the model that we're pursuing right now and developing, is that process where a customer can go through and build their own roof based on all their existing conditions as well as their future conditions that they want to select.
Well, that's it for another episode of Small Biz in 15. Thanks again to Steve Festa of Blues Brothers Construction and Zoho for making this program possible. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the show, and please leave a comment and let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future programs. For more small business news and tips, join us at smallbiztrends.com.